Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Today, and Lily's here. Today we're continuing our coverage of Chris Chan with part 3 of the comprehensive documentary by Gino Samuel 2.1. Had to remember that one. Anyway, I've got Lily here because she's home, and, we're here. And we're going to discuss a little bit about parenting, autism, things. Yeah, as we go over this, but, for anybody that wants to join us, go right on ahead, but this is mostly for the replay later, just so you guys know. I love you all. See ya if I see ya. Alright. You ready to get started?
Mm-hmm.
We've got a little bit of coffee left, so we're good. Did we ping Lewis?
I don't know. I thought
Hang on. Gotta get Lewis. Had to do it. Okay. Anyway, if you're ready, and she walked away, we're pretty much ready. If you all are ready, then we'll get started. This is part 3 of the Chris Chan documentary. Now we get our headphones.
What made him this way? What is the attraction?
Just let me know if it's too loud. It might be too loud.
What keeps us fascinated?
What?
This is the story of Chris Chan.
I can move this a little closer, actually.
Hello, my name is Christian Chandler, age 22 at this time. I will be 23 on February 24th, 2005. Anyway, for over a year now, I've been trying to attract...
Almost forgot. There we go.
an 18 to 22-year-old boyfriend-free girl,
wait, I still didn't know,
18 to 21, before February 24th, 2004, which
There
is
it goes.
this year. Anywho, been trying for over a year to attract a girl,
Always technical
boyfriend-free girl,
difficulties.
and I have failed.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, we're good.
And
Okay, so he's 23. He's basically just continuing his love quest. In the last episode, Chris Chan got kicked out of the mall for throwing a red heart at women with a string on it. He would throw a red heart at women so that he could reel them in, basically. He was fishing, and the security guards didn't like it. The jerk-ops, as he refers to them, kicked him out. So now here he is. I'm filling you in, really.
I've heard bits and pieces of this before, but yeah. I guess.
What do you know about Chris Chan? Because I know you've seen, like, me watch this, but, like, from an outsider's perspective.
Just, like, a lot of messed up things have gone down. I just don't really know all the... I don't know the whole scoop or anything.
I feel like that's most people's perspective. They just, here's some bad stuff, which is true. But there's a lot of stuff in between. Saw the red heart thing in an anime and thought it was how they do it in Japan. That's true, yeah. I can't remember which anime.
we had so many failures at this time. You can't help but feel sad, and depressed. Yeah, here it is about Christmas time. And, well, all I want for Christmas is a boyfriend-free girl.
Chris prepares for Christmas 2004 by singing 2 of his songs for the camera. He performs So Need a Cute Girl,
Tell me why I so need a cute girl my age.
followed by All I Want for Christmas is a Pretty Girlfriend.
All I want for Christmas is a girlfriend. She has to be 18 to 22. Well, at this time of year, all I can say right now is that I hope Santa will comply with my request and bring me a pretty girlfriend. And so, happy holidays from me, Christian Chandler. By the way, you can call me Chris in public. And thank you.
Christian whipped his camera out for Christmas Day too, and documented the state of the house at that time.
'Twas Christmas Day, and all through the house, the creatures that were stirring were my family and me and our 2 cats. And we wander upon our wondrous Christmas tree with a star that was made so delicately. Delicately?
The star on top of the tree is in fact Sonichu. Chris
my
reveals
God.
that his dreams were dashed that day.
And a Christmas present that was supposed to be for the girlfriend that Santa brought. But unfortunately, she didn't show.
Chris introduces his audience to his parents.
And now we wander in on my family. Say hello, Father.
This is just gonna be incredibly sad. The whole
Like a nice Christmas movie.
I mean,
You're wasting your chip.
with the context
So
of
what's going on
like
here?
of knowing like what eventually happens, yes, but yeah, I know.
This is gonna be a lot, isn't it? Let's take a look at the chat.
Christian isn't his real name. Yeah, Christian was a mistake that was said at the Regency Square shopping center. One of the bears or something, or one of the performing bears accidentally called him Christian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And
then
he just
was-
went with that?
He rolled with it. Yeah,
Well, I'm gonna play on to VHS anyway.
it's kind of sad to see
All right.
family back
A
together.
smaller Christmas tree down here.
Yeah.
And our mother is asleep here in a dark area. Would you care to share a Merry Christmas with the world, Father?
Ho, ho, ho.
The tour puts a spotlight on the extent of the hoarding situation
Bob.
in the house, as Chris visibly has trouble navigating through the hoard.
Care to say something to the entire world?
Merry Christmas.
Oh, Barb.
Yep.
After the tour, Chris documents the gift.
Merry Christmas.
So we've just got like a whole hoarding situation on our hands.
Yeah. He gets in
Okay.
trouble later with these videos for showing the house in its state. I think Bob comes in and he's like, "You need to take down them Christmas videos, because they can come down and move us out of here." I can't remember if it was
wow.
this
Okay, because
video
they had
or
put the videos up of the horde? Wow.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
the state that the house was in was too much.
Gift exchange, revealing the interpersonal dynamics of the family.
Okay, yeah, it's recording. So, here we are around the Christmas tree. We're gonna open presents.
Hooray, hooray.
Chris presents
Why-
Bob with a card.
Hi, Dave.
Barb literally sounds like a Texas Ranger. He's Merry Christmas.
Supposed to read it?
Yes, read it.
Am I supposed to read it out loud?
Yeah. Read,
I'll
read,
see.
read to Mom.
I want to thank you all for your support and love throughout my fantastic love quest. Pooey. And if Santa doesn't bring me one, no Thomas. Like
It's
I
just the
asked
cat
him,
that's
then
in
I'm going to need some support finding a boyfriend free. It'll come, Christian. Hope you all like my presents.
Okay.
Today I'm thinking of Christmas and remembering you all.
Why does this feel
Merry
so
Christmas, Christian C.
uncomfortable?
Yep.
They almost seem just annoyed, you know? I mean, the first thing Bob said is, "Do I have to read this out loud?" And Chris is
He
like,
clearly
"Yes."
doesn't want to, yeah.
Yeah.
Christian gives Bob
Even reading it, he said he's like replacing words, and he's like, "I wanted the one," like I think he's replacing girlfriend.
the option of receiving the Puppet TV show Fraggle Rock on DVD or on VHS. After Christian discreetly implies that he wants to keep the DVD for himself,
was Chris
Bob
in
caves in and chooses to take the
23.
VHS.
Yes,
So you want the VHS.
yeah.
There you go.
I'm not much for the other.
DVD.
Why do we have it on both?
I gave him a choice, remember? You remember he originally wanted DVD? It's Fraggle Rock, Father. That's what's on there.
I see.
Everything that's on the DVD is on that VHS.
VHS worked better than my system.
Yeah.
Chris presents Barbara with a Lego set.
Snowboarding stuff.
He gives her a plush doll of the Japanese character Hamtaro.
I got you, Hamtaro.
That's cute.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Who is he?
It's a Hamtaro. He's a little hamster. He's a little bitty hamster.
The family discuss the possibility of a surprise visit from Sarah.
Oh, that's my present for Sarah. Because, she might come over.
I don't know what she will.
Well, she did last year, remember?
Chris attempts at an embrace with his mother, but ends up hurting her instead.
Here, oops, I'm sorry.
Don't break my head.
I'm sorry.
He does it again.
2 boxes together here. I'm sorry.
Chris gives Barb another present. A snow globe with him in it.
Snow globe. With me in it.
Merry Christmas, Robert.
It's also got Sonichu in it. Look. See? One side, Sonichu on the other.
That's cool.
I got it over at Walmart, the snow globe.
How about that?
It's cool.
How about
Yeah.
that?
That's neat. Merry Christmas.
Yep, Merry Christmas.
Now we can go back downstairs where it's warm.
Snappy New Year.
Yeah.
Snappy New Year, huh?
Not on the couch.
I think in a lot of ways, this is a good representation of, like, someone who really wants to have a family and a childhood, Chris, but doesn't really get it because his family are just, like, annoyed. They just don't want to participate. Like, you know how it is. My family at Christmas. My dad.
What?
That-
No, I mean,
for those of you that don't know, my dad is about the most enthusiastic person that you can ever meet in your entire life. Like, God help you if you're near him at a baseball game.
what? What?
He's always, he's always screaming.
What?
But it's just that family dynamic.
No, it's
He's always.
It's just his personality.
Yeah.
There's nothing
He's
wrong
very
with it.
encouraging. And, at Christmas, he's like, all right, yeah, who's next? Who's next? Yeah, it's good. Read the card.
Holidays are like a big thing for some families, and that's fine.
For Bob and Barb here, they just seem tired. They just seem over it. And I guess it makes sense with their age, but sad. It is depressing, yes.
Yep.
After the gift unwrapping, Christian went back to his room to record a video recapping the events.
Well, now this ends our family Christmas of 2004. I did get some nice gifts, but it does not compare to having a boyfriend-free girl that can make it to
so
a
we need
girlfriend.
our mic volume up, and then the
But
video
unfortunately,
volume
I
down,
was
I think is
hoping
what
for her to come, but she didn't.
Yeah.
My
Thank you,
lifelong
Lewis.
friend, Sarah
Sorry, we're
Hammer.
not up to par on the sound here.
Is that better, y'all?
We're working.
You know,
on
if
it.
she had not been paired up with that jerk Wes Isley,
Can you hear us better?
I could have it. But seriously, though, I wish she was here so that I could talk to her and so she could help me in my quest to get a boyfriend-free
So why are we
18,
watching this
22-year-old
depressing
girl.
stuff again?
Hey, man.
18,
Coverage of
22 years,
Christian.
February 24th, 2005. Well, anyway, that pretty much sums up my Christmas season for this year. So, as they say in showbiz, goodbye, folks.
Yeah,
As
it
he
seems kinda
enters
sad.
2005, Christian continued his tried and true tradition of pacing around the mall, hoping to attract a boyfriend-free girl. His activities quickly caught the eye of Anna McLaren, an employee of Pack & Son at Charlottesville Fashion Square, who described her encounter.
Paxson. Paxson. What?
we're both dying over that. It's Pack, son.
with him in a blog post titled
Do they have
The
Pac
Tale
Sun
of the
anymore?
Crazy
Apparently
Pacer.
it's Pack and Son.
There was a guy who
they-
paced in front of Abercrombie and
change it?
Fitch.
I don't
He'd
think
come and do it for hours on end, just walking back and forth. He was an okay-looking guy, not evil-looking like creepy molester dude. So he would pace for his allotted time, then leave. Sometimes, as he paced, he would sing or shout. Nobody really could ever tell what he was saying. Oh yeah, and he always wore the same shirt. A nice little long-sleeved red and blue number that had a gold crest on the left side, and white collar and cuffs. Then,
Yep.
one day, He decided to start pacing on the PacSun side, so he started pacing in front of our store. We were doing floor set, and Lin noticed that crazy pastry kept looking into PacSun as he paced. And this day, he was acting particularly crazy. He'd pace and pace, then stop and shout something at the wall, then keep pacing. And he also did some singing, even getting into the vibrato falsetto junks. It was hilarious. So anyways, someone, I can't remember who, suggested that the next time he looked in, we wave at him. So they waved, and Christian waved back. After some waving back...
They didn't read whoever suggested it should die.
Back and forth, Christian took the initiative and entered the store. He came right up to the counter that I was standing behind, and he looks right at me, all fidgety and twitchy, and he goes, "You look to be about 19 years old, right?" He then proceeded to introduce himself. "My name is Christian," he said, "but you can call me Chris. I'm Christian W. Chandler." "Oh," I said. "Hi, Chris." "So," he continued, "do angels have names?" I found out later that he meant to say, "Do angels like you have names?" Poor guy was so nervous, he didn't get it right.
Oh no.
Anna introduces herself, then Chris talks about eyes. "My eyes are two different colors. One of them is green and the other is blue. That's because I had pink eye a while back and one of them stayed that way.
No.
What color are your eyes?" I was pretty grossed out by the pink eye story, but I told him anyway.
I would say so. I was pretty grossed out by the pink.
I don't think that his eyes are actually two different colors. I've seen close-ups of him again and again, and it doesn't quite seem that way. Also, this doesn't add up at all. My eye color changed because I had pink eye. That does not happen.
Sometimes blue, sometimes green, and usually gray. "Oh, that's neat. It's funny how that happens, isn't it?" "Yeah," I said. He attempts to ask her out, but Anna declines. He eventually settles on the internet as a forum for future communication between them. Christian came back and handed me a card with a crudely drawn Sonic the Hedgehog and some other yellow Sonic-looking creature on it, along with Christian's name, email address, and website. It was a homemade business card. "That's my email
Got the
address,
backwards
and
chair.
you can just email me sometime, okay?" "Okay," I said, not intending to email him at all. Little did either of them know, but this was the start of a friendship. But for the time being, Chris's contact with Anna was sparse. In February, Cartoon Network's Adult Swim block held a contest which asked viewers to make their own commercial advertising the release of the cartoon series Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, Volume 1 DVD set.
What a weird
Christian sent
show.
in his own unique take, in which he mentions his ongoing feud with Mary Lee Walsh.
"Hello, I hired Harvey Birdman, attorney-at-law, to help me, Christian Weston Chandler, in my case against Mary Lee Walsh, who years ago shared my heart. And he has won the case for me, and you have won for me. A Harvey Birdman 2-disc DVD box set, which comes out April 12, 2005.
He finishes with a brief promotion of his custom cards depicting himself and Sonichu.
This is a Christian Chandler Sonichu production.
Regrettably, the winning entry did not feature Chris. In response, he vented his frustration at losing on the Adult Swim message board. "My entry was very dramatic, and a lot better than that piece of poo, or any of the others that made the top 5 as well. I'm very upset about that. My Quick's Harvey Birdman spot was the best, and I feel sorry for you, Adult Swim, for not noticing that. You all should take another good look at it, and seriously reconsider." In March, Christian published
Jeez.
Sonichu, Issue 0, his first full-length comic. The issue is further divided into episodes, much like a television show, with a different story in each one. Episode 1 begins in an open field 5 miles from the city of Station Square, in which a wild Pikachu observes fighting in the distance between Supersonic and the perfect Chaos Monster. Pikachu gets caught in the scuffle and collides with Sonic, the impact releasing a rainbow which lands on a girl Raichu 15 miles away.
Why does the
who then
perfect Chaos Monster look like fucking Loch Ness Monster?
The city of Station Square, in which a wild Pikachu observes fighting in the distance between Supersonic and the perfect Chaos Monster.
What the hell is that thing? Look at its teeth.
Pikachu gets caught in the scuffle and collides with Sonic, the impact releasing a rainbow which lands on a girl Raichu 15 miles away, who then transforms into a hedgehog-like creature and calls herself Rosechu. Meanwhile, the Pikachu somehow inherited Supersonic's powers in changed form and joins Sonic in the battle, defeating the perfect Chaos Monster. He christens himself Sonichu. Christian himself interjects here and there. He draws himself having one blue and one green eye, as he had told Anna. His eyes are in fact different colors, but the difference is nowhere near as profound as in his illustrations. He then proceeds to introduce Quickville, and reveals that he is also the mayor of said town. He then goes on to introduce all the main characters of the story, including Mary Lee Walsh. He saves himself for last, and devotes a full page to talk about Christian Weston Chandler. The next episode concerns Sonichu and Rosechu meeting and quickly falling in love, sharing a kiss underneath a spray of fireworks. In episode 3, Sonichu confesses that he has a dislike for pickles, as does Christian in real life. This is followed by the introduction of the evil foe, Natesurk, whose name is simply Christian, backwards. After the battle is won, Mayor Chandler drives off in his car, carrying the Virginia vanity plate, Sonichu, identical to the one on his real-life car. It should be noted that
Wait,
Sonichu refers to Chris
Yeah.
as his father,
He got that
even though
later,
his
but-
creation has nothing to do with Christian. The comic ends with a sub-episode starring Chris in a story based on his run-in with the mall police. However, in this version, he clutches his medallion, says Electric Hedgehog Power, and transforms into Chris Chan Sonichu, who largely looks like a blue-colored Sonichu, making him look like the original Sonic the Hedgehog. Meanwhile, the Jerkop equips metal armor. Needless to say, Chris defeats him by cursing him into experiencing horrendous bad luck by using his Curse-Ye-Ha-Me-Ha attack. Towards the end of March, Hannah, who worked at Starbucks in the Fashion Square, approached Christian during his near-daily pacing and asked him out on a date. After she left, I became very excited and oh my god all over. After calling mom and eating me nuggets, I lifted the chair
Eating
with
me
such
nuggets.
cheer and grace and spun around with it like a dancer.
Why
Then
are
I
we
put it
laughing
back
at
where
that?
it was.
That's so stupid.
I felt that my love quest had finally come to an end,
They were
and
saying
I
it's an
so
AI
elated
voice in
that
the
my shattered
chat.
heart had a full, fast recovery.
I don't think it's an AI voice. It's definitely Geno Samuel. He doesn't show himself for the entirety of this documentary, except for like the very last episode. And he's just weird. He's foreign, so he just sounds weird. Catherine B said, "Perfect chaos monster sounds like my daughter at 14." Well said. Well said.
Oh man.
I went to
That's gonna
Starbucks,
be us.
and we talked
I'm
about
sure.
basic things. I showed her my Sonichu scrapbook.
I
She was
know,
very
they're
impressed.
cute now, but
I gave her my email and both my phone numbers on a Sonichu site card, and she gave me her email address. I was very attentive as I took notes about her and maintained eye contact. As I left her, I gave her a double-take flirt. That was the
What does that
rise. Now
mean?
here comes the fall. As I was sitting at my spot, thinking about future steps for later dates, Anna and Dana told me they went to talk to Hannah. She told them that she was setting me up in a prank. I could not believe it, so I found and asked Hannah. Sadly, it was true. Then in major shock, my heart shattered again by 85%, and I let out a big no. His outburst of negation resulted in Chris getting banned from the mall again. He devoted the second sub-episode to this misadventure. Not long after, he completed his second Sonichu comic, Sonichu Issue 1. Pokemon's Giovanni teams up with Sonic villain Dr. Robotnik to create their own Sonichu in order to defeat the real thing. Unfortunately, a blunder causes Sonichu's DNA sample to get corrupted with cherry cola, producing an imperfect replica of our hero, called Black Sonichu, also known as Blotchu. Blotchu captures Rosechu, so Sonichu and
Why is
Sonic
it
team
cherry
up to
cola?
rescue her. After combating Blotchu and the new Metal Sonichu, they eventually save Rosechu.
Oh, Metal Sonichu is sick.
The style of the comic became more text-heavy, with some conversations so convoluted that Chris numbered the
Is this
lines in
Catherine
the order
B?
that they should be read.
what does it say?
The following month, Chris's review for Sprung,
You have to
a dating
read the
simulation
text. I
game for
cannot see
Nintendo
it.
DS, was published in Nintendo Power. I
Hi, Lily. Yes, they will be partners in Chaos. Heart, it's a beautiful, crazy, wild ride. Double heart.
originally bought the game because I needed some lessons on what to say to, or do for, a girl. To make a long story short, I developed a fear that all the pretty girls are already paired up with a boyfriend. I've dubbed this social phobia Noiophobia, after the Spanish word for boyfriend. Anyway, before Sprung, I was afraid to approach most women. FYI, I am 22 years old. I tried to silently attract a boyfriend-free girl, mostly with signs, for over 1 year and 4 months. Then Sprung provided me with general things to say and do, so I felt more confident. When I tried my newfound expressions from the dating simulator, I forgot my fear of the infinitely high boyfriend factor, and I met a couple of lady friends with whom I feel more comfortable. So thank you Nintendo and Ubisoft for the dating advice that this frustrated virgin needed. Christian C.
From Virginia.
On April 13th, a University of Virginia student wrote a blog post that included her observations of Christian, whom she renamed Sonichu, hanging around the Alderman Library. So Sonichu returned to Alderman today. I'm not sure what to make of him. He sits in his chair and draws his Sonichu comics. Harmless, I ask me. Yet I feel like he knows he's different. He knows that the world rushing in front of him is not his own, surrounded by the brightest students in America, whatever that means.
This is so
He sits in his chair and draws,
intricate.
23 years old. I'm not
This is
sure
like
he
a
even
whole
graduated high
series?
school. In front of
86
him,
parts.
text of Plato,
86?
Faulkner,
Wow.
God,
Okay.
and Kleist's swirl. Does he have the capacity to understand these works? Whether he can or not, I am not sure. But there is something in his eyes that realizes that there is a level of understanding and thought that he is unable to partake in. As he slumps lower and lower in his chair, with each student he eyes reading or holding a book, he falls into himself, into the markers and colors on the page in front of him. He seems intelligent enough to understand that he does not understand, and that is the hardest part of all. In early May, Chris released Sonichu Issue 2. This marks a turning point in the comic as the story begins to focus on Christian rather than Sonichu. Episode 7 concerns the Antuant Prophecy. When Sonic explains the mysterious prophecy to Christian, Chris reaffirms that he is the creator and father of Sonichu. They enter the Destiny Cave and unknowingly release an ancient evil power. Chris also meets an ancient leader of the Cherokee clan, who reveals that Chris is his reincarnation. He is told that he has to unleash ancient powers to defeat the evil by using his Sonichu medallion to transform into Chris Chan's Sonichu.
Yeah.
The story ends in a cliffhanger, with Sarah Hammer and Wes Isley getting possessed by mysterious forces. Between episodes 7 and 8, Chris inserts an advertisement for Axe body spray, in which, ignorant of the societal norms of hygiene, unknowingly confesses that he believes that bathing makes people smell exceptionally nice, to the point that people would compliment you, and that using Axe body spray is just as effective as bathing. Episode 8 continues with Wes meeting his past self, who is a
Except
member
no.
of the Wasabi clan, and turns into Wesley Sonichu and vows to kill Chris. Sarah also sees a vision and meets the queen of the Cherokee clan, and transforms into Sarama Rosechu. Meanwhile, Chris Chan Sonichu accidentally transforms back into his human self, leaving him vulnerable to attack from Wesley Sonichu, who turns himself into a ball and goes for a flying attack, prompting this exchange from the protagonists. What the? Sonichu, run! You don't have to tell me twice, but during the Stone Age. Chris figures out
What is
that
that?
his attacker is Wes
What does this
Isley,
even
and
mean?
confesses how jealous he is of him for
I've
being
been
with
confused
Sarah,
for pretty
who is
much this
eavesdropping
whole time.
nearby.
That made no
Wesley
sense.
reveals that he only wants to steal the Cherokean crown. Chris changes into Chris Chan and fights Wesley Sonichu, who eventually knocks Chris out and steals the crown, which inexplicably just came into being. Before Wesley can finish him off, Sarama intervenes and fires a lightning bolt arrow at Wesley, pinning him to an unsacred tree.
Yep.
In the final episode, Sarah breaks up with Wes, who cries out no while shrugging. They learn that Quickville, which is a vibrant community with happy people, cool chicks, business, and a frustrated male,
Cool
is
chicks.
under attack from a giant stone golem, which is under the control of Mary Lee Walsh and a mysterious talking orb. So Chris Chan, Sarama, and Wesley fly over there to fight them. The orb reveals itself as the ancient evil and announces that he is Count Graduan, who is a personification symbolizing the pain and sadness of Christian graduating from high school. The three heroes beat them off for a little while, but Walsh and Graduan escape, vowing to fight another day. In the epilogue, Christian and Sarah chat on the couch, and unfortunately for Chris, she reveals that she has found herself another boyfriend named William, and thanks Chris for being a great friend. Christian dedicates an entire page
the
to Sarah
friend
Hammer,
zone, just
his
like
lifelong
that.
friend, and offers some highlights of their time together. Currently, I don't get to see He as much as I did, because she found herself a boyfriend while I was in Richmond. But I often wonder how she is, and if she is happy with him. I share my troubles with her in my illustrations, letters, and over the phone. I always appreciate the little moments I have with her. The final page is a call to action for all Sonichu fans, in which Chris expresses his wish to have Sonichu produced into a bona fide franchise by Nintendo America. The comic concludes with Sub-Episode 3, which is a dramatic reimagining of Chris's conflict with Mary Lee Walsh, who is the head of the private villa of corrupted citizens, the base of operations for the villains in the Sonichu universe, the name of which is derived from the acronym of Piedmont Virginia Community.
I sense our servants are returning. Good. We will destroy Chris's love quest. Bring me his soul.
Who is this character based on?
Mary Lee Walsh, who's like the director of I don't know what she was exactly, but she made Chris take down his advertisement for wanting a woman on the community college campus, and he's hated her ever since.
So now he just hates her. Okay.
This is a really good example of how it's all in good fun at the time, you know? He demonizes anyone who disagrees with him in his comics. Anyone who he doesn't like, he turns into a demon who eventually is slain or defeated by his hero character that is himself, or a representation of himself. And while that's all in good fun at the time, if you continue to think this way and keep doing this, it's grandiose delusion, you know? And I think that's exactly what happens here. This is his actual, he feels this is his actual life in the comics. And it's weird because at the time, at this point, he's just trying to make something as an outlet, you know? He even expresses like, yeah, Nintendo, buy my shit, make it into a franchise. Which would never happen. But it becomes so much more than that.
Community College. With Sonichu Issue 2, Christian comes closer to blurring the line between real life and his comic book world.
All Sonichu material are copyrighted? What? That's not true. Copyrighted by Christian W. Chandler, March 2000, 2005. This must be in 2005 then.
Real life and his comic book world, creating his own reality. In Sonichu's News Dash Issue 9, Chris announced that he will attend the Anime Mid-Atlantic Convention in Richmond, Virginia on all 3 days. Since he has put himself into Sonichu's world, he will cosplay as himself. Talk about self-respect, huh? Also, he will be watching some of the good anime, getting some souvenirs, participating in some of the events, and just having the good time. Also, he will have some printed copies of Sonichu Premiere Issue 0 on hand. But if you want a collectible copy, you will have to find him and ask for one. He stayed 2 nights alone in a hotel room, and during the convention, he handed out copies of Sonichu Issue 0 to unsuspecting attendees. On June 22nd,
Yeah, and that had like a heavy advertisement for himself in it or something. I think this was 2005, somewhere around there. Let's see. I avoid pronouns for Chris and use quick in place of pronouns because it's too contentious. Nice. I feel weird about pronouns for Chris too. I feel like he doesn't deserve them.
Second, Christian recounted the events of the past 2 days. I had my setup at the McDonald's at Walmart, and apparently complaints were made. The 2 manager jerks, a senior comic, and a black, fat jerk. He looked a lot like the leader of the jerk cops at the mall, whom I refer to now as the Jerk Keef, approached me and took me for a fall with my trying to find a boyfriend-free girl, like I have been doing for the past over 1 year and 10 months. We argued and disputed until the 2 of them left to call the police. While they were gone, I had taken off the sign from my Nintendo DS and hidden it on the back cover of my diary. When the jerk cops came, they were all like, "What seems to be the problem?" And the married Sainor comic was like, "Where's the sign?" And I was, "What sign?" And another argument was had between the 4 of us, in which I never gave any of those jerks eye contact. because none of them deserved it.
So that's a great way to be about things. Break the rules, then when you get in trouble, cover it up, and then lie. See, this is the kind of behavior that Chris Chan chooses to do. It's the choice that he, she... Now you got me second guessing myself. It's the choice that they've made. And it just continues to happen like this over and over again. Concealment, lying, deception, just a lot of that.
A lot of manipulation.
A lot of manipulation.
So, I got kicked out from the McDonald's, not the Walmart, for the rest of the day. Now
Not
for
the
what happened
Walmart,
today,
just the
I was
McDonald's.
starting to set up my things, and the
Yeah, Walmart
B
doesn't
manager was getting in my face. I feel that he really hates me. And he was like, "Don't set up your stuff. Don't push me." I was not going to use the Nintendo DS sign today anyway, but he did not want my pixel block sculptures at all. I stood up against that manager. I continued to build, and I dictated my situation into his face
That's not
with a
gonna
song
help.
and dance.
With a song and
He went up
dance.
to the Walmart manager, and he was like, "Hey, let's talk." But I sat silent for a minute. Then I said to him, "I do not speak to any man other than myself, because they all have taken all the pretty girls, leaving me with none." Verbal
What a
combat
great
had started,
reason.
and during the fight, I ran off, still giving verbal punishment, as well as the finger, and many Kamehamehas. I nearly backed up onto him with my car, and I gave him another finger. Then I dashed off.
You
Now,
nearly
I
backed
fe-
up onto him with your car.
Whoa.
See, this is what I'm talking about. These are undocumented for the most part, undocumented instances before there were body cams. But Chris is not a great person, especially in the early days. Like, it was pretty bad. It was pretty crazy. And the ones that we do have documented are like spraying a GameStop employee with mace, running over a separate employee with his car with Barb. And that's just two things, you know? Like, there's so many other things. It's crazy, the undocumented stuff here. Like,
Feel sad because I have nowhere else to go to attract a boyfriend-free girl. And I feel very furious with those managers and all men other than myself and my father.
right.
Chris began believing that there was a conspiracy involving all the men in his town. They all are against me in finding a girlfriend of my own, but I will not give up on my long and tedious love quest. I'll find a new attraction spot, somewhere in Charlottesville,
An
Virginia.
attraction.
There has to be at least one 18 to 23-year-old boyfriend-free, caring, smoke-free, non-alcoholic, white girl out there somewhere.
Oh my god.
Chris dramatized this entire ordeal in
Specific?
sub-episodes 4 and 5. But his adaptation also featured the manifestation of his dream sibling, Crystal, his twin sister.
Well, fancy seeing you in the flesh, Chris. My brother. God, that's creepy.
A mere month later, he caused more trouble, but this time at Target, where he sat waiting to encounter a boyfriend-free girl for hours, taking gross advantage of the free refills at his disposal. I was at the new Target store, just hanging around, not bothering anyone. And, from out of the blue, these two managers asked me to leave because they said I was loitering. I was not. I was there hoping to find an 18 to
not.
23-year-old boyfriend-free girl, like I usually do.
That's loitering. That's loitering, you dumbass.
I was not.
This is what I'm talking about, man. These undocumented instances. The reason why they're coming up to him is because they've dealt with him before. You know, they've probably seen him around, bothering everyone. And he's just like, oh, here they come again. These assholes. Oh, I stood up to them. I got them.
Then,
Except
from out
not
of the
really.
blue, after I told them off, they came back with two jerk-ops. I was slightly intimidated, but mostly annoyed
talking
and
about
ready to
security
strike back on
guards?
them.
I
They
think so.
asked me to leave and never return.
Well, we
I
don't
didn't-
really know. He said two managers. And then they came back with two jerk-ops. So,
So does that mean like police or
Two-
security?
two figures of authority from X place
Okay.
said go away, and when he didn't, they came back with two higher figures of authority from the police.
Okay.
Not want to leave. I would have left peacefully. In fact, I was ready to go. But I had a prepared speech to say to them stupid jerk-ops. And, during the middle of my speech, they chased me. pulled my pants, and
What?
pinned me to the floor. 5 jerk cops dogpiled on me as I struggled to get free. 1,000 pounds of sausages
theme
on my
song.
180-pound body were seriously a cutoff for my breathing
You
flow.
can check on her if you want.
The hand
Our kid in the other room is watching Bluey, and every time the Bluey theme song comes on, she's just like,
Yeah. She's probably okay.
cuffed my wrists and legs, and they hog-tied me. Not only did I feel humiliated from being the victim, but I was angry at them, not only for handcuffing me, but once again thwarting my efforts in trying to find a boyfriend-free girl. They drove me to the county jail, but fortunately, they did not keep me there. I was released to my family. Chris was charged with trespassing and disorderly conduct. It was terrible, but my mother and I are going to get back at them in court. In fact,
dude, you got a disorderly conduct charge. They should have charged you with resisting. Probably multiple counts of resisting. Probably obstruction. There's probably a whole list of charges that you should have been charged with. But you're not going to be charged with because they literally see you as, like, mentally ill. And while that's, like, to your benefit, this is the reaction that he has to it. My mother and I are going to get back at them in court. We're going to get back at them. Like, geez. You can't just cut your losses, you know? Live and let live. No, he wants revenge.
I learned that the jerk cop who arrested me was called Baggett. That was the only thing about the situation that was hilarious. Replace the B
I
with
guess.
an F, and you can see how funny it was.
Ha.
However, after attending 2 court hearings, the charges were dropped. This event was recreated in Sonichu sub-episodes 7 and 8, but in Chris's reality, he endured much greater torment, and came out victorious in the end. Less than a week later, Chris had another run-in with the law. This time, a minor fender bender when he rear-ended the car in front of him. He was fined $30 and also paid $56 in court costs.
That's such
In August,
horse
Christian
crap, man. That always kills me. Any fine that you get with, like, the government, sure, it's like a $20 fine for not wearing a seatbelt or something. $75 court cost. Stupid taxes.
returned to PVCC after the end of his 1-year suspension. It was around this time that Anna announced that she was moving to Utah. Her announcement also somewhat coincided with her 20th birthday, so Christian and her friends organized a birthday/farewell party for her.
I know what you're
With
pointing
Chris
at.
claim
The sun-kissed shirt.
No, just
No?
Chris's like creepy demeanor. in
Oh, yeah, he looks very, very creepy. I think he thinks that he's, like, being cool in this, but he is not being cool. What are these glasses? I feel like those are Barb's glasses.
farewell party for her, with Chris claiming that he picked out and bought the cake himself. Throughout August and September, Chris engaged in back-and-forth conversations via MySpace with 2 female students, Jelena and
MySpace.
Lindsay. But despite all his efforts to meet with them, it ultimately came to nothing. In September, Chris finished Sonichu Issue 4, which was merely a compilation of sub-episodes 1 through 8. He claimed that his mother didn't want him making any more stories concerning his own life, so he obeyed and stopped making
Did he
sub-episodes
say...
concerning his own 1 through 8. Sonichu Issue 4, which was merely a compilation of sub-episodes.
Okay, I could have sworn he said... I could have sworn he said compilation.
1 through 8.
I could have
He claimed that
sworn.
his mother didn't want him making any more
Stop
stories
it.
concerning his own life, so
Get
he
out.
obeyed and stopped making sub-episodes. In October, a user on a Sega forum began a discussion thread about Sonichu, in which members discussed the comic and Christian's personal antics. This was the earliest documented online discussion concerning Christian, but the original Sega forum hosting site has since been shut down and there is no known archive of the discussion chain. In November, Shoujo Beat, a manga anthology magazine, published Chris's letter which vaguely concerned the manga Absolute Boyfriend. Riko Izawa in Absolute Boyfriend sort of has the same problem I do. She can't get a guy, and I can't get a girl. Here's my sitch. All the pretty girls are already paired up with some jerk, leaving me with none to choose from. Also, nobody can tell, off the bat, a paired up from a boyfriend-free girl. At first, it's equally hard for Rico to find a girlfriend-free
Suppose that
boy,
is true,
but then
isn't
she's
it?
granted this wish, where she gets a girlfriend-free boy,
I'm
although
a
he
little
is
lost with his grammar here.
a robot delivered to her doorstep. Lucky girl, I'm 23 years old. One would think I'd have gotten a girlfriend by now, but no, I haven't. I'm stuck in the situation where if my parents should pass away, I will be a very lonely virgin.
No.
Some months later, a fellow
What does it have to do with your parents, man? See, this is another issue. It's like he's so reliant on his parents. There's very, very little socialization. It's like, I don't know, that's his main struggle, but it doesn't really have anything to do with your parents, and he's very focused on that for some reason.
I don't even think that's entirely from the autism either.
Yeah, that's just a like a failure to launch thing.
reader sent in a reply to Chris. Why is he only looking for pretty girls? There are plenty of girls who are not supermodel gorgeous whom he could date. It's not the outside of the package that counts, but the inside. A girl can be pretty on the outside, but might be mean or self-centered or have other problems, whereas another girl could be plain or even ugly on the outside, but quite a beautiful, kind, intelligent person on the inside. If more guys would think about what qualities they look for in a girl and make sure those qualities don't just focus on her outer appearance, they might just find a girl to go out with. Otherwise, many girls will think, why bother? He'll just leave me for the next pretty girl he sees. Megan agreed with her sentiment. Chris's advances towards Megan intensified, as is documented in their emails. She declined
God.
giving out her phone number, and later in the same email, also
So, okay, I need to tell you. So, I've rewatched everything. Megan did not go to high school with him. He actually met Megan. God, they look so creepy. He looks very creepy, and she looks very uncomfortable. Every photo's like this with them. So, he met Megan at a Yu-Gi-Oh!
God.
Tournament.
A Yu-Gi-Oh tournament?
Yeah, so there was a
Okay.
local tournament going on, and he went to it where he met Megan and then started a correspondence with her, and I'm pretty sure this is one of her biggest regrets is like talking with him.
emails. She declined giving out her phone number, and later in the same email, also declined his invitation to go out to a restaurant. In an email from December, she stated that she did not appreciate Christian trying to kiss her, and admitted that she's not interested in a relationship, but insisted they can remain as friends. She also confessed to accidentally discovering that he bought Megan a Nintendo DS, even though she had recently just gotten one herself. Through Megan, Chris was introduced to My Little Pony and Sailor Moon, with Megan providing him with some of her own fan art.
Oof.
He also began making his own custom My Little Pony figures, including one that he
Slippery
made
slope that we're
using his
seeing
own
here,
hair.
right?
Yep, that's the one. That's the one with his own hair.
Oh god.
And it has a little Sonichu medallion. Oh my god.
No. His own. Wait, hair? That's Chris's hair. What?
It's a little
Are you
gross.
Are you messing with me? Is that
no,
real?
No. I mean,
As
yes.
an adult male fanatic of My Little Pony, he preceded the so-called brony culture, which would only begin to blossom around 5 years later. Megan also requested him to bid on a collection of World War II photos on eBay, of which Chris was the winning bidder.
That's random. So he literally was. It was about 2005, and he's just getting into My Little Pony. So he's like right at the beginning of the brony fandom. Like he's been in it since the beginning. So that's something of note. Like there's not many people that can say that.
In 2006, Christian's online spending habits intensified, with Chris purchasing My Little Pony and Sailor Moon figures, pornography, and sex toys, among other things. In February
job.
of 2006, Christian finished drawing Sonichu Issue 3, which took 7 months to complete. The comic begins with the origin stories of each member of the Chaotic Combo, whose eggs were created in and ejected from the rainbow, as seen in
Go ahead.
Episode 1.
I hope you guys can hear that. Just randomly, she's like, "Ah!" This video is about to end. We got like 3 minutes left. I love you.
Sorry, I'm busy.
All right.
The green egg lands in the jungle. The electric hedgehog Pokemon that came out of it grows up to become Wild Sonichu. The blue egg lands in the ocean and is rescued by the Pokemon Swampert, which takes it to the beach just in time for it to hatch and become Bubbles Rosechew. The white egg lands in front of a church, and out of it hatches Angelica Rosechew, who is raised by nuns. Mystifyingly, after she evolves into her final form overnight, Christian is outside her window, bringing her a scrunchie and a pair of shoes as a gift. The red
That's
egg
not
crashes
creepy.
into Nabe's dojoshin and hatches. For some reason,
Appears outside of her window to give her a scrunchie what? It doesn't matter. You appeared outside of her window to give her a gift?
Nabe
That's
is compelled
creepy.
to rip off the Sunny's tail, causing him to instantly evolve into Punchy Sonichu. The purple egg hatches in a cave, and the purple Sunny starts to telepathically communicate with the Pokemon Mewtwo, who decides to mentor it. For months, this mysterious mentor taught the Sunny how to hone his pores, lift objects mentally and physically, and the outside world was like. Until one day, during meditation, the Sunny suddenly evolves into Magichan Sonichu.
There he
He then
is.
farts. The episode ends with a final bulletin which would have been more suitable for a televisual feast rather than a comic book. Stay tuned for when these hedgehogs meet.
Interesting.
In the next
So that was the birth of Magichan. Magichan becomes an integral character in the Chris Chan saga later. I think it actually becomes one of Chris's husbands. That's a little ridiculous to even say out loud. So, yeah.
episode, Blachu steals a Master Sunstone and through a comedy of errors is met with 4 of the chaotic combo. Eventually, the 5-member troupe teams up with Sonichu and they take down Blachu, leaving him in a bloody mess, accompanied by a tweet tweet sound effect, commonplace in cartoons. The comic closes with a fake ad for a call service that would send one of the 2 single men in the world a beautiful girlfriend or a monkey. In May 2006, Christian attained a CAD degree after 5 years of study, even though it should have only taken 2.
Okay,
For the
yeah, I
graduate-
did not know that. He... Satisfactorily completed the architectural computer-aided drafting and design curriculum. Career Studies Certificate. Career Studies Certificate.
After 5 years of study, even though it should have only taken 2.
What does that mean, Career Studies Certificate? I'm not a college boy. I ain't no college boy. Ain't no college kid. I make art for a living. I make videos. I don't know what certificate, Career Studies Certificate means. It seems general. It seems very general. As far as I was aware, I thought that you got an associate or a bachelor's degree based on 2 or 4 years of going to college in whatever field. So I don't know what this means, but taking 5 years instead of 2, what was he doing? What was he doing all the time?
For the
Love quest-
graduation
He was love questing.
ceremony, he decided to wear the robe from his high school graduation instead. Now that Christian received his
Oh,
qualification,
so cool. Yeah. Chris Chan. Sonichu medallion at graduation. So cool. So cool. I've got Harry Potter playing in the background. So cool.
this made him more likely to get a job and advance his life towards building up a career, doing what he loved, and possibly even realizing his wish for the Sonichu franchise to become a dignified reality, making his dream come true.
Man, he looks mad. Yep. And that is the end of part 3, you all. So, yeah. 5 years at college for him to get a 2-year degree of computer-aided drafting and design, which he sort of uses in his Sonichu comics. That was actually brought on by Bob. So that's actually really important to remember. I forgot that happened. And then in the last episode we saw that Bob was the one who encouraged Chris to sign up for CAD. So yeah. But I don't really have anything else to talk about right now. We'll move on to part 4 tomorrow. Lily's in the back dealing with our child who possibly has autism. We'll talk more about that tomorrow, and we'll get Lily back on these live streams because it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. There's a lot to go. This was part 3 of 86, so there's no end. Well, there is an end, but there's a wealth of content ready to go with Chris. So we'll be coming back to this later. You all right? Did she poop? Is she a pooper? This is what we do. Parenting. Parenting, barely even pooping. Parenting, get it everywhere. Okay, I'm done. Thank you very much for watching, you all. What? What'd you say?
Is there more? Are we?
No, we finished it. That was pretty much it. The only thing that happened at the end was like the birth of Magi-chan, which is significant because Magi-chan is an ongoing character. But that's pretty much it. There's not much else to say. Do you want to add anything or say goodbye?
I mean, I guess. I'm sorry about that.
Taking care of business.
Yep. I guess not. I guess that's all we were doing, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. We'll get back on here. I'll probably get back on here either tomorrow or the next day. And we'll do this again. Please remember to leave a like and subscribe if you're feeling it. I love you all. We'll be doing it again. That's pretty much it. I'll see you guys later. Thank you very much for watching.
Thanks for watching, y'all. Have a good night.
All right. See you next time.